Finding any sense of community for me has always just helped me feel a part of something bigger than myself, but especially an activity like Mussar, where what you're doing with that community is just as important as being with the people, I think is what really makes it special.
Mussar has taught me the tools to be comfortable in my own head and try to figure out how to interact with the world and how I want to interact with the world in a more formal and thoughtful way.
To me, Mussar is really the practice of learning and understanding how you can apply those, those values, those, soul traits, the midah, to your life as you continue to live it in other spaces beyond the actual group that you're, learning Mussar.
I started writing about and teaching Mussar around 2002, and it meant that I was going around to so many different cities and different communities and introducing people to this ancient tradition in the Jewish world, which many people had not heard about. And consistently, I kept hearing from people, do you have something that's available for teens? Is there anything you can give for our young people? So there was such a demand that I kept hearing that I sat down and worked with other people and said, let's create a program for teens that will be geared to them at their level, and not just to teach them about Jewish values, but to actually lead them on a process so that these values can be internalized and become their own. And that was the origin of this program.
The Mussar Institute is very excited to be offering this program. It's a Teen Mussar program. We're calling it Challenges and Choices, a Jewish Teen's Guide to a Balanced Life. And it's a program that introduces Mussar, which is an 1,100-year-old tradition. It comes out of the idea that we all are born with very natural qualities. And in Mussar, we call those soul traits, or midot. And this program is an opportunity to really do that in a practical way with teens.
For teenagers who are trying to figure out, who am I? Who do I want to be? What's my place in this world? This is a confusing world that we live in, and these are tricky times that we live in. And this just speaks so deeply. It lets them explore these values, these midot, in safe space. And for a lot of teenagers, for a lot of people in today's world, finding safe space isn't always easy.
I think what I find most exciting about it is that it's able to translate our traditional age-old wisdom into very relevant and accessible language. And I can't think of anything more important to give a new generation of Jewish leaders the feeling and the knowledge that their tradition matters, their tradition has something to say to inspire them, to guide them.
They're emerging adults. They're at this place in their life when these questions of who I am and what do I care about and what choices do I want to make about how I live in the world and how I live into relationships are primary. They're obviously important throughout the life cycle, but for kids, especially high school kids, they're front and center. They're in formation, and so to marry this tradition to that moment developmentally is genius, right? I mean, it's a great opportunity, and it helps them to fall in love with the Jewish tradition even more. So what could be bad?
So we structured the curriculum so there's an introduction, there's a range where students can see the two opposites of the values and where they want to be within that value. And then we have a science section. We have a section of Jewish text with prompt questions.
Each unit, we have 11 midah units. Could be humility, it could be generosity, it could be patience. We even have envy in there, responsibility. Each unit will be focused on one midah. We also have profiles, or midot in action. So we profile people, teenagers and adults, a diverse group of people who really illustrate each virtue in a way that the kids will understand. And we invite them to share their own profiles. In what way have you been like this? And finally, we end each class with what we call sort of transitioning out and sealing in the learning. They're always practice techniques to bring home.
We also added a parent connection, a family connection section, where we can send that home to our parents after the kids learn, so they can bring it home and they can talk it over at their dinner table.
I just think it's not that often that kids can pause and be thinking about their relationship with others and with themselves in an accessible, intimate way that's also not judgmental and that isn't focused on kind of achievement, because there's a lot of kind of achievement-oriented things in their lives, and this isn't like that at all. It's really focused about thinking about what kind of person you want to be in the world.
By having small group interaction guided by somebody with much more training and experience, but bringing the kids, the teens, to express themselves, to talk about their own aspirations, to talk about their concerns, their challenges, their difficulties, in a space which is really emphasized to be a confidential space. That creates a safe space, and then we find teens opening up and sharing and guiding each other under the supervision of a skilled adult, but really guiding their own spiritual development.
I think everyone should be learning about Mussar, because especially if you're feeling confused and lost, because all of finding your way in the world starts with learning about yourself and figuring out just the smallest parts about yourself, and that's what Mussar does. You can look at all the tiny little things, every value that you have, every belief, every trait that you possess, and help you become the person that you want to be, because that's really what it is, like becoming the person that you want to be, because everyone's different, and that can help you navigate the world better.
I believe that the way it was written, it's accessible to teens that are totally secular, that have very minimal background or no background at all, to very Orthodox kids, because it takes Jewish values, which are human values, and it reaches in our tradition. So kids that know nothing, all of a sudden, oh wow, this is Jewish. And kids that are Orthodox and understand the Hebrew and understand the writings can still say that they're using it in their lives, because everybody faces the same issues, no matter who they are.
Mussar has been around for a long time, and there have been, over the past 20 years, many Mussar programs and classes, especially through the Mussar Institute, that have been geared towards adults. It is an absolutely perfect type of approach for teens, particularly teens, as we've heard, who really want us to have a sense of purpose in their lives, a sense of meaning in their lives. Teens are looking to matter, and this program speaks to them exactly where they are.
This class has really made me more confident about myself and made me understand that I shouldn't really care about how others think of me, and I should just be happy with who I am as a person and just do what I love, be who I want to be.
It's hard to keep kids engaged post-bar bat mitzvah. It's hard to keep kids involved in their temple community, and it's hard to make Judaism stay alive and be alive for these kids, and this curriculum is a way to do that. And it's a way to help the students and to help the parents, and it's really a great experience, and I would highly recommend it for any congregation looking for something new and innovative that will really touch their students where it matters.
We hear from the teens who participated in Challenges and Choices that they actually love coming to Mussar. They look forward to it. There's no attrition. The kids who join the program stay with the program, which for us is a really important barometer of success. They're happy and they're coming back every time there's a class.
I'm extremely glad I did it, because while the other things we were doing was definitely interesting and definitely I feel like made me a better person, this was different and it was more personal, and it really helped me to grow in different ways than what we had been doing before, and I think that was extremely helpful and extremely meaningful to me as well.
Teens are extraordinarily hungry for guidance because the world is confusing, it's scary, it's uncertain, and so the Challenges and Choices program really gives teens something that they are really already looking for. They're looking for guidance in their lives that they can trust, that really is in their interests, that will help them be the kind of people they intuitively feel they want to be, but also to be successful in life by being the kinds of people other people look to them to be. People who are generous, kind, humble, and really the kinds of people the Jewish tradition has always held out as being the ideal for what a human being should be.
Teens are searching for meaning in their lives and wondering how they can make Judaism relevant. So you take these values and put them in a Jewish lens where they can really understand Judaism through their everyday life. And we are hoping that they will take these values and have them take them to heart. So when they are challenged with everyday life's problems, they can make their choices in a healthy way.